Hey guys, do you suck at Marvel Rivals? Well, these 5 settings are guaranteed to instantly make you better. Just kidding, kind of, but hey, I'm a smaller channel, so I had to get your attention somehow. But in all seriousness, I wanted to make a video specifically geared towards controller players. I originally played on console for a really long time, and then I made the switch over to PC, and I played on controller on PC ever since. I know a lot of times, especially in Marvel Rivals, it can feel like everyone plays mouse and keyboard and like you're at somewhat of a disadvantage. But I can guarantee you, if you change some of these settings, especially if you're using the default settings, it will 100% help you. And if you guys stick around until the end, I will throw in a bonus tip with a little hack that will definitely help your aim. Let's jump right into it. First, we're gonna go up to settings, and then we're gonna go over to controller, and then we want to go to combat. The first setting that we're gonna look at is your aim sensitivity. And these are obviously the sensitivity settings for your sticks on your controller, your horizontal and vertical movement. And the default settings are 130 and 75, which is just way too low. These settings are going to make it really hard to track enemies and to move your cursor for your aim. So I suggest setting these much higher. You can gradually increase them as you get more comfortable, but I would recommend a setting of somewhere around 200 for horizontal sensitivity to start off, and slightly lower for vertical sensitivity, so something like 175. If we go into the practice range with the default settings, you can see how slow it is looking around. That's pressing all the way to the right and the left, which seems like it's relatively not that bad. And then vertically, it's even a little bit slower. And now if we set our settings to 200 horizontal and 175 vertical, you can see instantly it is way faster and way quicker, which is what you want if you're in the middle of a fight with enemy team and you have heroes all over, flyers, and you need to quickly adjust. Using the default settings is going to take you way too long. Some pro players will have these set to as high as 250, 260, 240, but that's going to be a little bit too high for most people. 200 is enough to give you some really precise movements and tracking without it being too crazy. But like I said, you'll have to try this out for yourself, and then you can slowly increase it over time as you get more comfortable, especially if you're new to the game, or if you're used to playing other FPS shooters and you already have a high sensitivity, then you can maybe even start out a little bit higher, like something like 220 and 200. But you can try it out and tweak it and definitely set it higher than the default values. And for the aim sensitivity curve type, I would recommend classic curve. This is going to be the smoothest and probably easiest adjustment for people that are new to Marvel Rivals. If you're using hit scan characters or characters where they're a little bit more aim intensive, dual zone S curve also might be a good option to try out, and that's going to give you a little bit more preciseness and a little bit more sensitivity with your horizontal and vertical aim. So that's a good one to try if you're using a high aim intensive character. The second setting we're going to look at is here under advanced. We click the little plus sign. We're going to look at the Deadzone Settings and Deadzone Boost. For both of the eye gaze targeting dead zones, we want those set at 1, and you want those as low as you can possibly have them without having any stick drift. If you go into the practice range and you notice at the setting of 1 that your controller is moving slightly even when you don't touch it, you might want to bump that up to 2 or 3 until you have no stick drift. And this is going to allow your cursor to start moving as soon as you start moving your sticks. The higher the dead zone, the more delay there's going to be from when you start moving your stick to aim to when it actually kicks in on the screen. So having these as low as possible is definitely recommended. Horizontal max dead zone sensitivity boost, the default is 0, and I recommend putting this at 10. And the reason why is if you need to do a 180 quick turn around to face a different enemy or to quickly turn around and help your team, if you have it set on 0, it's going to be a lot slower. This allows you to quickly spin around and face the opposite direction. You can even set this possibly closer to 12 or 15, but I find 10 to be a good spot for me. You can try it out and then adjust it based on your controller and your settings and see what you prefer, but 10 is a good starting point for this. The third settings we're going to look at are going to be for aim assist, so just down a little bit below the stick sensitivity and aim sensitivity, we'll see aim assist window size. And for this setting, you can kind of think of this as a box around the hero that you're aiming at. So the bigger the window size, the more the aim assist is going to pull you towards that target. The default for this is 50, which is just way too high. I recommend setting this down to something like 30 or even 25. And the reason why is if you have enemies that are grouped up and you're trying to target a specific one and they're very close together, having the bigger window size can pull your cursor towards the enemy that's next to the person that you're trying to aim at. So having this lower allows you a little bit more granular control and a little bit more precise control over who you're aiming at. And many times in this game, you'll see enemies that are all grouped up in one big bunch, and this allows you to target the specific person that you're trying to aim at in that situation. So I would recommend starting with 30, and then you can slowly move this down depending on your needs and the hero that you play. And the next setting is aim assist strength. The default for this is 100. I personally like to set this just a little bit lower at 95. Some people say leave it at 100. You want all of the aim assist that you can get, but I like to set it a little bit lower. That way the aim assist is not just totally pulling your cursor in a particular direction in case you're trying to aim at something else close by. Just setting it down a little bit below 100 can give you a little bit more fine control in certain situations where you need it and won't allow the aim assist to just totally take over. Projectile heroes aim assist ease, and the default is 80. I think this one is okay. This when you hover over this setting, it will also give you the list of all the heroes that are affected. So like Strange, Blade, Cloak, and Dagger, heroes that shoot a projectile and not like a bullet, like Punisher or Star-Lord. Those are hit scan heroes. So on those heroes, you want slightly higher aim assist ease in, and this will slow down your cursor as you're moving your reticle towards a hero. It will slowly slow down your cursor as you get closer to them. For hit scan heroes, you'll want this to be a bit lower, and I usually set mine around 30 or 25. Again, it's going to be personal preference, and you can try out the settings and adjust them, but you're going to want this to be a little bit lower for hit scan heroes. And for melee heroes, you can leave this at 0 since it doesn't apply. There's really no reason to have it set any higher. Setting number 4 is going to be your reticle, so your crosshair that you use to aim. If we scroll down just a little bit more under the HUD section, you can see some of these reticle settings. You can select what kind you want, if you want a circle, a crosshairs, a dot. I typically use a crosshair, and if you click the advanced drop down here, you can start to customize it however you want. I usually keep reticle animation off. If you don't, you'll get this animation, and this can be really distracting, and I highly recommend shutting this off. The width refers to the width of the center dot. And this I set pretty low for mine. I have mine set at 5. Reticle opacity, you want to leave at 100. The outline width, I have mine set at 75. I like to have the dark borders to make this easier to see on screen. Sometimes with a lot of the effects in the game, it can be hard to see with all the different colors of all the different abilities going off. So this helps make it stand out for me. But you can definitely set this a little bit lower if you like. Blur, you want to have set to 0, and the center gap is the distance between it's the space between the center circle and then the crosshairs. So if you set this lower, you can see it brings them closer together. And you can adjust that to personal preference as well. I like to have a little bit of space between, so I'll leave mine at 12. And then your crosshair length here. You can start with a longer crosshair, and then you can reduce it down for more accuracy as you get more comfortable, but increasing this, you can see, will make your crosshairs bigger. And then we can also change the color. You can do custom colors, or you can select one of the defaults. I like green because it stands out the best for me. I definitely don't recommend using red because there are so many abilities and effects in the game that are red that it will just tend to kind of blur in, and it makes it pretty hard to see. So I recommend green, blue, yellow, or you can use a custom color to set it to whatever you want. And the last setting I want to go over are the individual hero button mappings. And this is under button mapping, individual hero button mapping, select. So if we go in here and select a hero like Venom, we can see which abilities are available for individual customization specific to him. And you can come in here and adjust these and turn these on however you want. So if you want to hold the button to wall crawl instead of just tapping it, you can adjust this here, and this can come in really handy, specifically for certain heroes. There are certain abilities where adjusting these makes using them a lot easier and a lot better. So you will just have to do some research online for the specific hero that you play and see which abilities are recommended to customize. And simple swing or easy swing for heroes like Venom and Spider-Man are one of the abilities you'll hear about the most being customized, and this is where you would find those. Okay guys, and I have one last quick bonus tip for you, and if you stayed for the whole video and you made it to this point, I really appreciate it. If you can like and drop a comment, it will really help me. I'm a small YouTube creator, so every like and every comment really helps a lot. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll be coming out with more Rivals content soon. If there's any specific videos you want to see, just drop it in the comments and I can try to get something put together for you. So the last bonus tip that I wanted to give you is control freaks for your controller. And if you don't know what that is, they're basically little attachments that you can put on your analog sticks on your controller. They come in packs of 2. I only use a slightly elevated one on my right analog stick on my PS5 controller, and they basically just snap right onto your analog. And they're really helpful. One, they really are a lot more comfortable, and they give you better grip, and they also help increase your aiming and your precision. So if you're interested in checking those out, they're like around 15 bucks on Amazon. I can put a link down in the description. And it's a small investment that you can add on that, in my opinion, it really helps with any type of aim game. So even outside of Marvel Rivals, if you play any first-person shooters or any other kind of games like that, it will definitely help you there. And they're just way more comfortable than the default analogs, in my opinion, especially on the PS5 controller. So check those out. And once again, I just want to thank you guys for stopping by. And if you join the Discord, you get notifications. I live stream Marvel Rivals as well, usually on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays. I try to hop on other days during the week if I can, but feel free to drop in and say hi, and thanks again.